How's it going, guys? Patel here with my review of Samsung's latest and greatest from the Galaxy S lineup, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. So without further ado, let's take a look at whether or not this smartphone deserves a spot in your pocket. Starting off with the design, Samsung hasn't made any drastic changes to the design this year. Instead, they've opted to refine the design from the previous generation, being the Galaxy S6 Edge. The S7 Edge still sports the same curves up front and on the sides, and Samsung didn't talk about how the S7 Edge was thinner than last year's S6 Edge during the announcement, because it is in fact 1mm thicker than the previous year. Now, I'm going to applaud Samsung on this because by doing so, they allowed for a much larger battery inside, and the camera bump and the fingerprint scanner don't protrude as much either. They seem more in sync with the overall design and the footprint of the device. Also gone now are the metal accents that we saw last year on the camera bump and the home button. The S7 Edge also implements the design of the Note 5 by having curved sides on the back. This adds to the overall experience by making the phone feel more natural and comfortable in the hand over the S6 Edge. Samsung has also brought back water and dust resistance with an IP68 certified design this year without adding flaps for the ports. The speaker does suffer a lot from this, and I found that the speaker on the S6 series and the Note 5 was much better in terms of audio quality overall. Samsung has also brought back the micro SD card slot this time around, and the overall design is just as sleek as last year's, if not sleeker. Moving on to the hardware, this thing is no slouch. Under the hood, this phone packs a Qualcomm Snapdragon 820 processor along with the Adreno 530 GPU. This is the best offering from Qualcomm at this point in time, and the S7 speeds through pretty much anything you throw at it. Graphics-intensive games and benchmarks are helped immensely because of its Liquid-esque cooling system. The 4 gigs of RAM also help keep all your multitasking needs in check. I would like to commend Samsung on making the RAM management a lot better compared to last year's aggressive management. Apps do stay in the RAM longer and are more persistent than ever before, but it's still not as impressive as the Nexus 6P and its vanilla Android software. We also have the snappy camera shortcut via the home button. Speaking of the camera, we have a new 12-megapixel dual-pixel shooter on the back this time around with an f1.7 aperture for even better photos whether it be day or night. The autofocus is blazing fast thanks to that dual-pixel technology, and this year, Samsung's Pro Mode offers even better controls. We have exposure control, shutter speed, ISO, white balance, autofocus, and color palette tools which give live readouts. The interface is fast and easy to use, and you can cycle through the controls fairly quickly. The camera also features tracking autofocus on a subject, whether it be during a picture or while recording video. Here are just a few samples of what this shooter is capable of. In terms of software, we have Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow here with Samsung's custom skin on top. Now, Samsung has toned down their UI quite a bit over the past few years due to the outcry from users, but I have to warn you, the occasional Samsung lag or janky UI is still present on this device. Personally, I prefer the interface on the Galaxy Note 5 better, as it was more condensed and minimalistic than this year's offering. If you are like me and you don't like the stock theme, however, Samsung does provide the theme store where you can download and apply themes that users have created. I'm personally rocking the Material Dark theme on my Galaxy Note 5 for that extra battery life. One of the biggest selling points of the Galaxy S7 Edge is, well, the Edge. There are many standard Edge panels that come pre-installed with the device, and I find the Edge apps super handy. But if you like more customization, just open up the Edge panel settings and you can customize the Edge experience and even download more panels from the Galaxy App Store if you wish. Now, One of the cooler features is that if you have Edge contacts enabled, if you receive a call or a text from a person on your Edge panel, the side, if the phone is facing down, will illuminate itself with the color fitting the contact. This helps you figure out who is trying to contact you fairly quick. Once you open up the phone, you'll see a tab on the edge with a color of the contact. Just slide that open to see what the missed interaction was. The S7 Edge also features an always-on display. Now, it's nothing new, but it's a feature that Samsung finally added, and you could judge for yourself if you wish to use it or conserve that extra battery life. Personally, I prefer keeping it off. Speaking of the battery life, the S7 Edge packs a whopping 3,600 mAh battery, and it was able to last me easily through an entire day, with usually around 20% left in the tank when I went to bed. I consistently was able to get at least 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time, sometimes even 5.5 to 6 hours, depending on what my usage scenario was. This is a stark difference compared to last year's Galaxy S6 Edge, which I had to charge at least twice a day to get me through. On another note, Samsung does provide power saving options, and your mileage will also vary depending on the processor you have. The Exynos variant of the S7 Edge and the S7 have been rated to last for anywhere from 1 to 3 hours longer than the Snapdragon variant. So if battery life is your primary concern, you may want to think about trying to get your hands on an Exynos powered unit. Overall, I have to say that I'm quite impressed by the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Samsung brought back features that consumers cried about for the past year, me included, and refined the previous generation to feel better for everyday use. The design is downright gorgeous, although still as much of a fingerprint magnet and just as slippery. The hardware is currently at the top of the food chain, and that camera especially is the best smartphone camera out there right now. That being said, Samsung software still needs improvement, and on a side note, the S7 Edge failed numerous times at palm rejection on the edges for me. If you're looking for a smartphone upgrade anytime soon though, the S7 Edge is definitely worthy of being in your pocket. That's all for this one, guys. To stay updated with the channel, be sure to subscribe and follow me on the social platforms listed in the description down below. I'm currently on spring break, so expect a handful of videos to be out this week. I'm Patel, thank you for watching, and I'm out.